Welcome, Senior Dragons. This is Ms. Holly McShane, your Counseling Programs Coordinator, and I'm here with you during this Pride lesson today to kind of review what we learned last year about your three E's, or your three main options for preparing after high school to be ready to go into the workforce. So, those three E's include being enrolled in an institution to continue your education. That looks like college, technical college, or an academy or institute. You can also be employed in the world of work right after graduation, not in minimum wage jobs, but in careers that are self-sustainable, meaning you can be financially independent. And we want to help you pair with industries that might offer some tuition and education reimbursement in case you do want to go back to college and earn some specialization or skills. And we also want companies that will promote your options and help you grow with these industries. And you can also be enlisted in one of the branches of the United States military or government agencies. It's so important to do your research. And by now, hopefully, you're very comfortable with looking at your U Science results and you're paying attention to the interests and the aptitudes that are going to share which career clusters are best suited for you. Those U Science and My Next Move that you can find off of the Georgia Futures tool that's down and below can also give you information about careers that have growth. So if it's going to take you 2 years, 4 years, or even beyond that to be ready to complete your training and go into the workforce, we want to make sure those careers are ready and waiting for you. Luckily, in the state of Georgia, we have a very strong economy and lots of careers are going to be available for our students. But these are three questions here that you and your family really want to sit and talk about this year in terms of how much time do I want to spend in training beyond high school? What careers are going to have that salary that can support my lifestyle? So, if employment is one of your first options, we want to make sure that you're taking dual enrollment into consideration. Maybe your spring semester, if you're not already enrolled. Dual enrollment can help you get a jump start on getting some certifications or diplomas in specialized areas that make you highly valuable in the workforce. And that also equates to a great salary. You can also complete a CTAE high school pathway, such as, for example, EMS or an agriculture pathway or a technology pathway. Some of these pathways actually end with a certification where you can get a industry credential, which is the same as having a technical certificate. So again, that's very valuable going right into the world of work. Work based learning is also a great option if you want to get some experience second semester. And if you want to go into the world of work, we're going to do a lot of skill building with you to make sure you have the resume, interview skills, recommendation letters you need to be ready for those local industry job fairs in the spring. This is an employment planning guide that we've created for you. If you kind of if you kind of zone in on it, it will show you what you should do month by month. And again, it starts in August about using your U Science results. And I'm also going to have some things on here that remind you about Apply to College Day and FAFSA that's going to open up either in December or January, because even if you feel like this is the best option for you, we still want you to be aware of all the options because your circumstances or your goals might change. So we want you to make sure that you're up with all of that new information. If enlistment is your first option, you have all of these branches of the military to choose from. But you do need to start planning on what your intentions are with the military. So, a couple of options are you can do college before you enlist under an ROTC scholarship, for example, or you can go to a military academy. This might pay for a great chunk of your college. And one benefit is that you would serve your enlistment contract going in at a higher rate of pay and possibly even with a higher rank. But for some students who aren't ready for college, or if they just want to go and have that military experience and learn the career skills while they are there, college can still be an option once you complete your enlistment terms. And if you want to go into the civilian workforce after that, and you might need some college training, that GI Bill is always going to be there to help cover that cost. So we will be having the ASVAB, which is the Armed Services Vocational Battery, on February 14th of 2024. This is the assessment test that will help determine your scores to see what kind of careers you're eligible for in the military and what is the branch that's going to be the best suited for you. We do also have recruiter outreach at Jefferson High School. So if you are interested in meeting with a recruiter, if you contact me or your counselors, we can help set that up for you. And we also have guest presentations quite often, which will alert you through your email. So if you, please make sure that you're checking your senior email this year for all of these updates. But if employment is your first option, let's go back here. Sorry, we already went over that. Here is your enlistment planning guide. And again, it has lots of ideas on things that you should do in order to prepare to be enlisted right after graduation. If enrollment is your first option, this one requires a little bit more planning because there's many multi-steps to this process. So we'll take a few minutes and spend looking at this. But one of the things you want to be looking at if you're not already visiting colleges, you want to research colleges online to see if it's a good fit. And that means that they are meeting your academic rigor on how you've prepared in high school. In other words, you have prepared with a GPA and rigor that meets their admissions requirements. And you also want to make sure that it has a good culture that you're comfortable with. So make sure they have extracurricular activities, job apprenticeship opportunities, and that you feel that you valued and you belong on that campus. You also want to take advantage while you're still in your senior year of earning or getting a head start on some technical certificates or dual enrollment core credits that can transfer to college after graduation because that makes you graduate faster, saves you money, and also saves you tuition because those dual enrollment credits don't cost you a dime. One thing to keep in mind, make sure you're protecting that high school Hope GPA at all costs because if you are eligible for the Hope Scholarship or the Zell Miller Scholarship, that's this year is actually going to pay 100% of your tuition at the participating university system schools in Georgia. I do want to make a note here about the Zell Miller. So some students are a little confused that, well, why do I have to continue taking ACT or SAT if Hope Scholarship is going to pay 100% of tuition for the year that I graduate? Please keep in mind that the state funding is only for that one particular year. So if you haven't qualified for Zell Miller by the time you graduate high school, you may not be eligible for those Zell Miller funds moving forward if the legislation doesn't make sure that those funds are continuing after this year. And we will talk more about that, but I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up about how that works. So if you are working for your Zell Miller and you meet the GPA of 3.7, but you need to get that 1200 SAT or that 2526 ACT, we want to go ahead and have that testing conversation. But again, we'll talk more about that in a future episode. This is the cost of college, and I just kind of picked the University of North Georgia just to give you a breakdown on what it costs for in state. So if you stay there all 4 years without any financial aid, it's going to cost you about $74,000 to get that 4 year bachelor degree. And if you're looking at student loans after 6 months of graduation, this is what your monthly payment can look like. So when I say protect that hope eligibility, all this tuition would be taken care of for you just by earning that scholarship. So this is just a slide that I'll let you look at when you have a little bit more time. It just talks about what a safety school, match school, and reach school looks like. A match school is one that pretty much meets the criteria of how you've prepared in high school, and you're as long as there's seat space, you're pretty much going to get admitted. Your reach schools may be a little bit of a stretch. Maybe their mid-freshman profile is a little bit higher than how you've prepared, but you still might have some amazing things that you're bringing to the table, and you might be a really good candidate. We want to make sure that you are applying to a reach schools and match schools. And of course, our safety schools in the state of Georgia are always going to be our amazing technical colleges. So I'm going to kind of briefly skim through here because this is something that you can kind of read on your own because I really want to kind of focus on this college enrollment planning guide because we do have a couple of changes. So a lot of your colleges have gone or stayed test optional since COVID, and that is great. If you are not a great test taker, that might be a great benefit for you. But I do still recommend that you do have at least one SAT or ACT sitting because colleges still do use those scores for placement in your math and your English classes, and that just can kind of just help skip a step and maybe skip some other classes that you may have to take if you don't have those test scores. I do think that the counselors are already meeting with their seniors, so make sure that you're signing up for appointments. We will have the Georgia Peach State Tour, which I've sent information out to you in your senior Google Drive. If you're interested in um, Georgia Tech, UGA, Augusta, and GSU. These are four colleges that the representatives from their admissions office will tell you exactly what you need to do to be admission eligible, when to apply, how to get scholarships, and how to take care of your business once you get accepted. So please make sure you're paying attention to those emails and registering for one of those Peach State tours. We're having a senior parent night on August the 30th. That's next Wednesday from 5:30 to 7:30. You should come with your parents. We will be talking about all things senior planning. If you want to be able to just breeze through your senior year, please show up for that. Next week, we're also having a probe fair, which is where the college representatives come through, and that gives you an opportunity to talk to them about admissions, deadlines, scholarships, and all that good stuff. So, lots of stuff going on in August. But I also want you to kind of pay attention to what we recommend that you do for the rest of each month of your senior year. Huge change in October. October was traditionally FAFSA month, but they've made some major changes, so it's not going to open up for students until either December, but it will be open no later than January. So we'll be having some financial aid nights that come up. I think they're already listed on here for November the 2nd. And we'll also have some family completion nights probably around February or March. So please make sure that you're aware of those two big changes with the Zell Miller Scholarship and the Hope eligibility and the FAFSA. So I will also upload this sheet to your Google Drive, so you'll have that spreadsheet too. Deadlines. Make sure that you know each college and university has their own stinking deadlines, and they are all over the place. If you are trying to do early decision or early action, most of those are going to be due by October. So regular decisions usually are around January. Rolling admissions just means that the college will take your application at any point in time and give you an answer within about 2 weeks instead of having one release date per year. But the only thing that you want to be mindful of that is applying early, because sometimes their rolling admission stops once their seat space is full. And I know UNG and Dahlonega usually fills up pretty quick. So we'll be talking more about the collegiate piece later on in the year too. The Common Application is a free platform for any student to create a student account, but there are many, many colleges, including UGA and Georgia Tech, that only have their application through Common App right now. So you will set up an application, or excuse me, a student account, complete your application. They have topics that you can write your essays on. And the beautiful thing about this platform is you don't have to submit numerous applications. You only fill out this application one time, and then you push it and pay for the admissions or the application fee to as many colleges as you would like. So speaking of college admissions fees, I want to say, if you think you are in any way, shape, or form potentially eligible for free or reduced lunch, college applications are expensive, and so are ACT and SAT scores. If you happen to qualify for free and reduced lunch, then you are entitled to several tests, or actually 2 or 3 tests per year through ACT or SAT. But it also unlocks a lot of financial aid, such as certain scholarships that only students that qualify for the free and reduced lunch are eligible for. So even if you are off campus or maybe you don't eat lunch, still fill out that application. Let's see if you qualify. There's lots of great resources that I can help you find for financial aid if you do. Again, this is a reminder on Senior Parent Information Night. And over on the right-hand side, I just wanted to share that these are your caseload assignments for your school counselors, and these are a phenomenal team. They are so experienced and can help you with anything that falls in the realm of your academics, your social emotional, learning, because the senior years is stressful. And if you just need to vent or problem solve, or if you've got some tough stuff going on, we are here to help you with that. But we can also be a really good advocate for your choices with your college and career piece. And that's also an area of expertise that I can help you with as well. So there's my contact information. If you want to reach out to meet, we can certainly do that. So the Georgia Futures account, if you have not already set up your account, and I would imagine by now, hopefully you have, is so very vital, because there are going to be some senior tasks that you have to do on here, such as FAFSA or your Georgia financial aid application. But also, if you're interested in dual enrollment funding, unless you have this account set up with your correct Social Security number input, that's going to be a problem receiving those funds. Another major issue that seniors will discover soon, if your Social Security is not updated and matches what's in Infinite Campus and matches what's in your Georgia Future Student account, is that we are not going to be able to send transcripts to any colleges that you want to apply to. It can also impact NCAA, and it's certainly going to impact your ability to send your funds to your financial aid office for Hope and Zell Miller. So please make sure that you've taken care of that little bit of housekeeping. I'll include on a separate attachment instructions on how to do that if you haven't already set up that account. When you have finished watching this very long video, which I appreciate your patience, I'm going to send you a quick link for a response survey, just so we know how to touch base with you and to make sure you have all of your questions answered. Thank you so much for your patience. And again, I'm so excited for your senior year, and please reach out to me if I can help you in any way.